Hey, thanks for having me back.
We're back together.
Yeah.
The gang is all here.
Thank you for letting me have some time off. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think everyone understands, and thank you all for your nice messages and understanding.
I really appreciate it, and I am happy to be back doing this because it makes me happy to do this. It is making fun of other people keeps my mind off myself.
Yeah,
and
there's nothing quite like it to take your mind off of the shitty things happening in your personal life than the shitty things happening all around the world.
Actually, I did show up bright and early this morning in Washington, D.C., and I was very upset to find out that we weren't doing an insurrection. I said,
so disappointed.
Where are my fellow libs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The libs blow it once again.
I know, disappointing.
So yeah, I mean, obviously the last time the results of the presidential election were being certified on the 6th of January, we were off enjoying our holiday and missed the whole damn thing. We missed the absolute chaos that ensued. And now, 4 years later, here we are, ready and willing to deliver the news.
Yeah.
And everything just goes off without a hitch.
Mike Pence had the chance to do the funniest thing possible again.
But he's not a funny guy, so.
Yeah, he could have been the one sole insurrectionist.
He could have.
Yeah.
The vice president certified the results of the election that she lost.
Kind of funny.
And Donald J. Trump was officially named as the next president of the United States.
Less funny.
And yeah, I mean, that's how things are supposed to go, but we did hope that there would at least be maybe a dozen or so diehard blue and on Dems down at the Capitol politely demanding to stop the steal.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump said he'd pardon all the January 6th rioters. He didn't say which year.
Yeah.
Seems like a real wasted opportunity.
I think a blanket pardon is needed every January 6th.
Anyone who's ever broken the law on January 6th, you are forgiven.
We just accidentally stumbled into our own version of the purge, but
yeah. January 6th, the laws, they're not laws anymore.
Blanket pardon. Anyways, despite Trump's promise to pardon everyone who broke into the Capitol building and fought police to overturn the results of an election and hang Mike Pence, the DOJ revealed this week that they're still working through their backlog of January 6th cases and have at least 200 people that they just haven't gotten to yet.
Oh, geez. What year is it again? We got time, right?
Yeah, we'll just keep putting this off. And that includes 60 who are suspected of assaulting or impeding police officers during the riot.
Yeah, what's the rush?
And that's on top of 300 cases where they filed charges, but the case hasn't yet gone to trial or reached a plea. And sure, over 1,500 people have been charged and around 1,100 have been convicted. But it's ridiculous that 4 years later, they're still not done. And now the guy all those people were rioting for is just going to be president again. And he's going to make it all go away. So, yeah. Even worse, the guy he's installing as the new director of the FBI, Kash Patel, is on record numerous times over the past 4 years pushing an idiotic conspiracy theory that the FBI were secretly behind January 6th.
Well, I guess he'll be in a position to verify that now.
Yeah.
When he is our new FBI director.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't seem like he would get confirmed, but fuck it, who cares? Wouldn't be all that surprising if he did too.
I'm very excited for the FBI files on X coming soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whee! Now, what's particularly weird about looking back on January 6th, 4 years later, is that at the time, it seemed like pretty much everyone, including the vast majority of elected Republicans and most Republican voters, were on the same page that this was really fucking bad. And there wasn't any excuse for it. It was just full stop, no bueno.
The one thing I did see this morning in the brief period I logged on was lots of compilations of newspaper headlines and video headlines from the days following the insurrection where it seemed pretty bipartisan that this was a bad thing that should have never happened and should never happen again.
The night of January 6th, Congress convened to basically dust themselves off and condemn the whole thing. And there was I think only 2 or 3 Republicans who were still just I don't know. Everyone else was clearly pretty rattled by the whole thing.
Yeah.
They didn't like what just happened.
But now we like it. Just like TikTok.
We love it.
We used to hate it, now we love it.
So clearly opinions shifted over time, and a new CBS YouGov poll shines some light on that. 4 years later, the January 6th, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol continues to be met with disapproval from a large and bipartisan majority of Americans, although Republicans' disapproval has become more tempered, a trend that first emerged in CBS News polling just months after the attack. The percentage of Republicans who strongly disapprove of the January 6th attack has dropped more than 20 points since January 2021, from 51% then to 30% now, the lowest level since the attack, recent CBS News polling shows. Along with that softening of disapproval comes majority Republican support for Donald Trump to pardon those who forced their way into the Capitol, something most Americans overall would oppose.
I mean, this is kind of like Trump's first time around, where all of the people who had previously hidden their more racist inclinations felt safe to come out and say that it's just fine to be racist. It's kind of like that now, where they looked around and they said, well, obviously, like this guy, they did it for him. So I guess we can all come around and say that we actually really liked this, right?
I prefer the idea that people were genuinely upset by the whole thing. But like, you know what? Yeah, when it was happening, I was like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But you know, I really thought on it and I prayed on it. And I was like, actually, it's not as bad. It's not really bad at all. I kind of liked it. In hindsight.
The preacher down at my local evangelical church has spent every Sunday for the past 4 years telling me about how it was actually
it's pretty good, actually.
So the polling shows that currently 30% of Republicans approve of the actions of the January 6th rioters, the same percentage as those who strongly disapprove, with 72% of Republicans approving of Trump pardoning the people who forced their way into the Capitol. That's the party that now controls every branch of government. So while the coup attempt itself didn't work out, the electoral results less than 4 years later have given those rioters exactly what they wanted, minus Mike Pence being publicly executed, with zero consequences for Trump.
They did it.
Yeah, and all the trials that might have actually prosecuted him for election-related crimes are on hold.
They're on a break.
While he's president, and almost certainly forever. I mean, his age, his weight, his general demeanor.
I think he's going to live forever.
But there is, however, one case against Trump that's still proceeding.
Ooh. So, go grab your lib family members and gather around the TV because I'd like to see Donald Trump wriggle his way out of this one.
Finally, my Republican Tears mug, it was almost all dried out. Here's the New York Times.
A New York judge released a decision today that upheld Donald Trump's criminal conviction in his hush money trial. Woo! The judge also signaled that he was inclined to spare the president-elect any punishment.
Okay.
The judge, Juan Merchan, indicated that he favored a so-called unconditional discharge of Trump's sentence, a rare and lenient alternative to jail or probation. He set a sentencing date of January 10th, rebuffing Trump's request to overturn the jury's verdict. An unconditional discharge would cement Trump's status as a felon just before his inauguration on January 20th, even as it would water down the consequences for his crimes. Trump would be the first to carry that designation into the Oval Office. Trump is now expected to ask an appeals court to intervene and postpone the sentencing. A Manhattan jury convicted him in May on 34 counts of falsifying business records, concluding that he had sought to cover up a sex scandal that had threatened to derail his 2016 campaign for president. He faced up to 4 years in prison in the case.
Well, he was certainly never going to get any time in prison. But first felon president, I guess it'll have to do.
The first of many.
Yeah, I mean, that also sets a precedent, because now in the future you can look back and say, well, look, I'm not the first.
Yeah.
The people have spoken.
It's been done.
So basically, he's still a felon, and he'll be the nation's only felon president so far. But beyond that designation, the court isn't willing to actually try and sentence him the way that they would any other felon convicted on 34 counts, which would be pretty severe, you would imagine.
4 years.
Yeah, I mean, but the fullest extent, 34 felonies, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
It would be fun if they sentenced him to 4 years and we had a president who's fugitive, who just is a fugitive from the law in one of the 50 states that he rules over. But yeah, this is America, and that kind of fun is simply not allowed.
That would be so cool if he just couldn't go to New York.
Yeah. I mean, he might not anyway.
Yeah. Well,
they're very nasty.
He might go there to defend his good friend, the mayor of New York, America's mayor, Eric Adams.
We were talking
New York!
We were talking before we started filming about the New Year's Eve celebrations, and right around midnight, Eric Adams shows up to Times Square, and Andy Cohen the whole time was just like, oh, look, it's New York's indicted mayor, Eric Adams.
Awkward.
Yeah. He's very indicted.
He's so indicted.
So yeah, anyways, let's shift our focus to the rest of the world now. America, we're not having too good of a time right now.
Boo.
Yeah. So let's look elsewhere. Maybe there's fun to be had outside of our borders. How about Korea, where prosecuting their leaders is a national pastime? And last we checked, their president, Yoon Suk-yeol, tried to do a little coup of his own. And it went so poorly that within a couple of hours, the National Assembly had blocked it and then moved on to the business of impeaching Yoon. At the time, we figured this whole thing was so brazen and so sloppy that surely they'd have Yoon out of office and heading to jail ASAP. But it hasn't gone as simply as we'd have guessed. The holidays got in the way.
Yeah.
Everyone's very confused. It's a blur, the holiday break.
Also, I mean, like as we saw with January 6th, in the moment, oh my God, this is horrible. But with the passage of time, it's like, was it really that bad?
Your Honor, my client clearly just got carried away.
Yeah, he's just boys being boys.
It's just, look, there's a precedent here. It's called getting carried away. Get all worked up, get all cranked up.
It happens to all of us, including the president.
The president of Korea, once he gets that syrup in him, he can't be stopped.
Yeah, I've had one too many sojus from time to time, and you wake up the next day filled with regret, but the show must go on. The show of life.
Most times you don't try a coup, but some of us do.
I mean, if I had the levers in front of me, would I not pull it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's to say? So Yoon was impeached in mid-December on the second attempt. Took 2 tries, but they got it. And his powers and duties were suspended and were taken over temporarily by his prime minister, who was then himself impeached for obstructing investigations into Yoon, which left the deputy prime minister now in charge, I guess until that person gets impeached as well. How low down the totem pole can we get? They're going to have the janitor running the country.
He might do a better job.
He might.
Yeah. Someone with dirty fingernails needs to get this job.
But actually prosecuting Yoon for his coup attempt has proved difficult. Authorities keep summoning him for questioning, and he keeps just not showing up. Damn it.
Thwarted again.
So he is holed up at the presidential palace and will not come out. And an attempt to serve him with his arrest warrant by over 100 cops and prosecutors only resulted in an hours-long standoff between the cops and hundreds of Yoon's own security services. For hours, just let us in, please. No.
I don't think so.
No. And meanwhile, despite Yoon's popularity being in the shitter, I mean, even before this whole thing, but especially now, the supporters he does have are very dedicated to their cause. And they have found a really great playbook to work off of in these interesting times of theirs. See if any of this sounds familiar from this article in the New York Times.
Every day for the past week, Kim Kwon-soap, 72, has joined thousands of others gathered near the home of South Korea's impeached president, Yoon Suk-yeol. They were determined to shield Mr. Yoon from prosecutors who wanted to detain him on insurrection charges stemming from his short-lived declaration of martial law last month. To them, it was the opposition who had committed insurrection, abusing its majority power at the assembly to repeatedly block Mr. Yoon's political initiatives. To them, the opposition's parliamentary majority was invalid because the election last April was rigged. And to them, protecting Mr. Yoon was synonymous with protecting South Korea from North Korea followers, who have taken root in every corner of their society, from the judiciary to schools to the news media. South Koreans commonly dismiss such conspiracy theories as little more than online demagoguery spread by right-wing YouTubers with the help of social media algorithms. But amid the country's entrenched political polarization, they have fueled the turmoil over Mr. Yoon's situation, driving zealous believers like Mr. Kim to take to the streets in large numbers, calling for the president's return to office. When I leave home for this rally every day, I tell my wife that this may be the last time she sees me alive, because I am ready to die for my cause, Mr. Kim said. This is not just about protecting President Yoon. It's about saving my country from my descendants.
That's crazy. Good thing that would never happen here. Nothing like any of that. People being driven insane by watching too many YouTube videos and vowing to give their lives if necessary for their shitty right-wing president.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And then Mr. Kim drove off in a giant dually pickup, lifted, by the way, and a huge South Korean flag in the background. Yeah.
And if that's not giving you the deja vu that was intended, here's the Washington Post being a little more direct. South Korean conservatives who fervently support the country's security alliance with Washington have long displayed U.S. flags at rallies. But the recent adoption of Stop the Steal highlighted the increasing similarities between Yoon's political rhetoric and Trump's as the South Korean president defends his short-lived martial law decree that plunged the nation into its worst political crisis in decades. Yoon has claimed he declared martial law to warn anti-state opposition party lawmakers. He has also cited allegations of systemic voter fraud going back as many as 4 years and sent in martial law troops to the National Election Commission to check election machines. Independent investigators have debunked those claims, which his supporters continue to amplify. Yoon's legal team has even invoked the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling granting Trump immunity from official acts taken while in office. However, under South Korean law, sitting presidents are immune from arrest except on charges of insurrection or treason. I love, this is like, finally, because we've seen this so many times over the years where stupid Americans go overseas and make a fool out of themselves and say like, but what about the First Amendment? And they're like, we don't fucking have that here. That's your thing. They're like, no, I have First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
And now over in Korea, they're like, well, the U.S. Supreme Court said the president can do whatever they want. They didn't say which president. They didn't say president of the United States. They just said president. And we got a president here. And can we use that? Can we use the U.S. Supreme Court ruling here in Korea?
Look, hey, let's see if it works. Let's see if it works.
So they're going to slow drag this. I just feel bad for whoever is president next because they got to find their own house to live in because he's going to still be in.
Definitely not.
He's going to still be in the
that.
nice one.
Yeah. But that's cool. Meanwhile, up in Canada, the guy running things just did something no U.S. president other than Nixon has ever done. Justin Trudeau is quitting. Fuck it.
I don't blame him.
Canada has national elections later this year, but with support for Trudeau's Liberal Party in the gutter, he's calling it after 9 years in power and giving the party some time to come up with a new leader. It doesn't exactly sound like it was 100% his choice, though, with high-profile members of his party openly criticizing him lately. Here's the Wall Street Journal. Trudeau is the latest standard-bearer for progressive politics to suffer from a voter backlash amid economic stagnation in Europe, discontent with aggressive climate policies, and a growing resistance to immigration. With Trump set to return to the White House on January 20th, conservatives and populist right-wing parties have also made unprecedented gains in the European Union, where 3/4 of governments are either led by a right-of-center party or are ruled by a coalition that includes at least one. The Canadian leader would exit as one of the most unpopular political figures in the country, leaving his party in a weakened position and his country facing an uncertain economic future. Voters blame Trudeau for rising costs and housing shortages that were aggravated by looser immigration policies. His approval rating fell to about 20%, and the Liberal Party trails the Conservatives by over 20 percentage points.
So yeah, it seems like unless whoever runs the Liberal Party next can drastically shift public opinion very quickly and form a strong alliance with the smaller New Democratic Party, there is going to be a big rightward shift in their next election, motivated by a lot of the same factors that got us a second Trump term down here. Shit's too expensive, and it's easy to blame immigrants for everything.
And everyone just wants someone to blame.
Yeah.
That's apparently all it takes.
Yeah.
They just want someone to blame.
And of course, this news of instability up north, it comes at the perfect time for Trump to try and capitalize off of it by reiterating his absurd wish that Canada allow the U.S. to annex it and make it our stupidly large 51st state.
Truly America's hat.
You thought Alaska was big? Get ready for Canada.
Yeah.
Gigantic. Mostly empty, though.
They're going to call
very
it
big.
North Texas, I guarantee you.
So Trump wrote on Truth Social, many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the U.S., there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be.
Their taxes would temporarily go down because all of their health care would immediately get just evaporated.
Yeah, that is
like, hey, we saved you a couple grand here on your taxes. You're gonna have to come out of pocket like 20 grand for your health insurance now, but the taxes are down.
Way more than what you're saving in taxes you will be paying to one of our beloved insurance companies.
Who we love so much.
We love them.
Don't look at the news.
We love them. Don't even look in their direction.
In fact, if you
call
do,
the hotline.
yes, they think that's you're a terrorist. Do not look them in the eyes.
You're gonna love our healthcare.
Yep, our healthcare is so good that if you critique it at all, you are labeled as a terrorist against the country.
Yeah,
we love our healthcare.
That's fine.
It's the best.
It is,
and that's why everyone does it.
Everyone loves it, and you're gonna love it too.
Hi, Canada. Oh, I'm sorry, North Texas.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It'll probably never happen though. So
no fucking way.
Not even worth thinking about.
He keeps talking about it. Like this one's silly. The Greenland one's also ridiculous. But I guess it has slightly more of a shot. The Panama one is genuinely fucking terrifying because I think he's gonna try to send fucking troops down there to
we have
take
like no legal right to that at all.
No.
In any way.
No.
No.
And also this was we've already gone over this. There was a whole fucking Panama crisis. Like 50 fucking years ago. We've been through this. Probably shouldn't do it again. But Canada as the 51st state, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Canada's politics are shifting right. Conservatives in Canada have definitely been taking their cues from their MAGA neighbors to the south. It's been very cute. But polling of actual Canadians shows that support for joining the U.S. is around 13%.
We hate ourselves, but not enough to become a part of the United States.
Yeah, with around 82% giving the idea a firm but polite no thank you.
Yeah.
And even if that were to somehow magically change and Canada was somehow absorbed into super mega USA, the politics of your average Canadian are enough to the left of your average American that it would actually be disastrous for the Republican Party. And it would force them to either just become totally irrelevant and fade into the dustbin of history or become much more moderate in their politics. So it's never going to happen. But it might be kind of cool if it did. We might actually get universel health care and sensible gun laws.
No, they would lose the health care and we would not gain the gun laws.
If Canada became one gigantic US state, they would have more people in Congress than even California. Like it would completely all the margins would shift to the point where Republicans would be dead in the water.
They could just do what they have done and kept with Puerto Rico and just be like,
yeah,
it's a territory.
You don't need to vote.
They don't need to vote.
Yeah.
You can't trust Canadians with voting.
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be a territory.
You can trust us.
Yeah, we'll get all the benefits and they get none of them.
Yeah. You get to I don't know, vote on the Canadian Music Awards. That's what you
can
get
come
to vote
visit
on.
every once in a while and
Not too many of you though.
No.
Because we can tell. You can tell. You might not think anyone can tell. We can tell.
I did see one of the maps, if you're going to agree with the map for no reason, because this isn't going to happen, there's the map where it's the United States and it goes by Colorado and then up to Alberta, takes all of Alberta, cuts under Toronto and takes most of that. And then it's California with Vancouver. And we also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Cascadia.
Yeah.
And we should merge that with Chile.
Yeah.
And just have super long Chile.
We could have a very thin, sexy country going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
lots of beaches.
Our national animal would be the snake.
Yeah. Beautiful beaches. Anyways, none of this is happening, so draw your own goofified map.
It's silly to think about, and it's extra silly that the incoming president of the United States won't shut the fuck up about it.
Although, the past couple of years of mergers and acquisitions has slowly whittled me down into believing that this could
That's true. They did it to Hollywood. Why couldn't they do it to North America?
If you love what David Zaslav has done with Max, then you're going to love Mega USA Corp.
We're going to put North Dakota in the vault.
Yeah.
We're just not going to have North Dakota.
It doesn't exist for 10 years, but you're going to love it when it comes back. and then it's only South Dakota. For 10 years, it's just one Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We put North Dakota in the vault for tax purposes.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people worked on North Dakota.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to have it.
Look.
So, sorry.
Sure, we could let it exist. But then we wouldn't get to save a little bit of money by ignoring it.
Yeah, trust us.
Yeah. So, and we're going to be pumping a lot of marketing dollars into Idaho.
Yeah.
Might not work. We don't know. Lady Gaga moved there.
Yeah.
Her and Joaquin Phoenix.
We need a state that is so dumb that you can enjoy it while you're cooking dinner and only paying attention half the time.
Don't make it too dumb though, because then even dumb people won't like it.
That's true.
And that's why the Joker made $30 million.
Got to thread the needle.
But speaking of the rightward shift happening in global politics, it's time to talk about Elon Musk and his insatiable need to be involved in politics around the world now that he's bought himself a president. Before we get to that, though, we do need to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Shopify.
Cha-ching.
It's 2025. Wow. What a blur.
It is 2025.
Yep,
now.
Should probably pay those bills. It's 2025, and new year means new opportunities. And for a lot of you out there, I know you've been thinking about one thing over the holidays, and that is starting your own business. But you have so many questions, like how do you get started? How do you come up with a brand? How do you sell stuff to people? What are you gonna sell? Well, take a deep breath, because Shopify's got you. Like a big hug from an e-commerce brand.
Yep.
Well, how do we know about Shopify? Because we all had the same questions as you, and here's what we learned. The best time to start your new business is, of course, right now. Shopify makes it simple to create your brand, open your business, and get your first sale.
Get your store up and running easily with thousands of customizable templates. No coding or design skills required. All you need to do is drag and drop. Their powerful social media tools let you connect all your channels and create shoppable posts and help you sell everything that people scroll. Shopify makes it easy to manage your growing business. They help with the details like shipping, taxes, and payments from one single dashboard, allowing you to focus on the important stuff like growing your business. What happens if you don't act now? Will you regret it? What if someone beats you to the idea? Well, don't kick yourself when you hear this again in a year because you didn't do anything now. With Shopify, your first sale is closer than you think. Established in 2025 has a really nice ring to it, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. So sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/itdaily, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/itdaily to start selling with Shopify today. Shopify.com/itdaily.
All right. It's Elon time.
Boo.
I saw too many Cybertrucks in Florida while I was there.
No.
And all I could think every time I saw one was the smartest thing Elon Musk, I got to give him credit. Smartest thing Elon Musk ever did was put fucking cameras all over that thing, because I've never wanted to take a baseball bat to a fucking vehicle more in my entire life.
Yeah, without those cameras, it would be game over. It would be the purge.
I would be a criminal. I would just straight up be destroying these things all over town. Anyways, Elon time. I'll get my aggression out elsewhere. It's got to be an insane power trip to be so rich that it only costs around 6% of your net worth to buy a presidency. So it's no surprise that since spending $277 million on Trump and getting to basically run the new administration via tweet, Elon has set his sights on other countries and political parties that he knows even less about. For several months now, he's been expressing his support for Germany's Alternative for Germany, aka AfD party. And with German elections next month, he's really ramped up his public support for a party that even other European far-right parties think is a little too fashy.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a step back, but Elon, he's
never
excited.
met a fascist party he didn't love.
It seems that way. That is kind of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Here's The Guardian.
The tech entrepreneur and close advisor to Donald Trump, Elon Musk, has taken a stunning new public step in his support for the far-right German political party Alternative for Germany, AfD, publishing a supportive guest opinion piece for the country's Welt am Sonntag newspaper that has prompted the commentary editor to resign in protest. The commentary piece in German was launched online on Saturday before being published on Sunday in the flagship paper of the Axel Springer Media Group, which also owns the U.S. politics news site Politico. Musk uses populist and personal language to try and deny AfD's extremist bent, and the essay expands on his post on his social media platform X, on which he last week claimed that only the AfD can save Germany. Translated, Musk's piece said, "The portrayal of the AfD as right-wing extremist is clearly false, considering that Alice Weidel, the party's leader, has a same-sex partner from Sri Lanka. Does that sound like Hitler to you? Please." Germany's domestic intelligence agency has classified the AfD at the national level as a suspected extremism case since 2021. Shortly after the piece was published online, the editor of the opinion section, Eva Maria Kogel, used the tech mogul's own platform to post on X that she had submitted her resignation. "I always enjoyed heading the opinion department at Welt and Worms. Today, a text by Elon Musk appeared in Welt am Sonntag. Yesterday, I submitted my resignation after printing," she posted.
The newspaper he wrote the op-ed in is widely considered a conservative leading outlet, so the fact that the opinion editor of a conservative paper would resign over an op-ed endorsing the AfD tells you a lot about the AfD. Their politics are in many ways very similar to MAGA when it comes to stuff like immigration, climate change, LGBTQ rights, and so on. But the thing with Germany is a lot of the even more extreme stances you see here in the US from MAGA folk are straight up illegal over there. And there's enough evidence that the AfD is the political party of choice for German fascists that the government has them under surveillance. Some of that evidence includes statements from AfD officials and candidates that seemed revisionist enough about the Nazis in World War II that France's far-right party backed out of an alliance with the AfD just a few months ago. So either Elon is aware of that and doesn't care, or he's unaware of it and is meddling in Germany's politics without understanding some really basic shit about the group he's endorsing. I guess both could be true.
He's just never met a fascist he didn't like.
Yeah, he's like,
I don't need to know the details.
They're getting the right people riled up online, I can tell, and that I'm just going to support this.
I mean, I think a lot of this is he does not like the EU. So he likes a lot of these parties, AfD included, are anti-EU. They want to do a Brexit for Germany, and
less regulations. Too,
yeah, because that's the thing is the EU is really the only political body in the world that is effectively tackling tech law.
Yeah, in any meaningful way.
Yeah. So I mean, supporting the parties that want to weaken the EU.
Did you talk about just over the winter break, Elon just being like, actually, immigration's great, and we're gonna replace more jobs? Because that was wonderful seeing him and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah. I covered the whole H-1B visa Musk versus Loomer conversation. Yeah. Which was that was interesting because it was a pretty mask-off moment where people were like, "Wait, I thought we were anti-immigration." He's like, "No, you fucking idiot."
Yeah.
We're anti-immigrating, brown people and poor people, but like when it comes to like skilled labor, like you Americans are too fucking expensive. And you always are starting unions and like complaining and switching jobs when someone else offers you more money. And with the H-1B shit, we basically get like a slave from another country. You can't do any of that fucking shit. And it's
They're
better.
Indentured servants.
Yeah.
They work for us. It's great. Also, realistically, not getting rid of the brown people, that was just to make you angry to stop looking at us for doing other things.
Yeah. Anyway, it is funny that he brought up like the leader of the AfD being a lesbian woman because, like the party has some homosexuals in it, but they are very openly like against like gay marriage being recognized on the same tier as straight marriage and a lot of other things. And also, you're not going to believe this. There was a ton of fucking gay Nazis too.
Yeah.
Like
it's always his argument too to immediately go to like, well, would a gay person do this, or would a black person do this, or what?
It's also just looking at shit from an American lens. When like the gay rights in Germany, like they were way ahead of us for a long time. It's always been just a very like who cares sort of culture around stuff like that. Like they've had lots of gay politicians and famous people, and we kind of lapped them on some of the rights, but like it's never been a big deal the way it is here with American conservatives.
But it's just very telling that instead of focusing on any of the things you could talk about with this party's viewpoints, it's just, oh, well, any argument that you make.
Yeah, it's pink washing.
It is, you can't even make the argument because there's a lesbian from Sri Lanka that is in charge of it. So obviously you're wrong, no matter what you're saying, any critiques you have. So...
Anyways, meanwhile, Elon is also meddling in the politics of the UK by, again, throwing his support behind a relatively fringe far-right party. And in this case, he's taking on an even more hands-on role. He's not just endorsing, he's pulling some strings because he knows that he can.
Yeah.
Here's the New York Times. It was an abrupt turnabout even for the easy-come, easy-go nature of alliances in President-elect Donald J. Trump's political orbit. For weeks, Elon Musk, Mr. Trump's billionaire backer
and boyfriend,
had wrapped his arms around the British populist politician Nigel Farage, promoting his insurgent anti-immigrant party, Reform UK, as the answer to Britain's problems. But on Sunday, Mr. Musk posted, "The Reform Party needs a new leader. Farage doesn't have what it takes." Mr. Musk did not explain his change of heart, but it appears linked to Mr. Farage's refusal to endorse Mr. Musk's demand that a far-right agitator, Tommy Robinson, be released from prison. Mr. Farage has distanced himself from Mr. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, and who has multiple criminal convictions in addition to a history of Islamophobic statements.
Well, this is a surprise. A studiously chipper Mr. Farage posted an hour after Mr. Musk. Elon is a remarkable individual, but on this I am afraid I disagree. My view remains that Tommy Robinson is not right for reform, and I never sell out my principles. Mr. Musk's rupture with Mr. Farage was a new twist in the days-long barrage of increasingly strident, misinformation-filled posts about Britain from Mr. Musk, who appears intent on exercising the same influence in European countries that he did during the American presidential election. He falsely accused the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, of failing to go after child rapists when he was head of public prosecutions. And he endorsed a post calling on King Charles III to dissolve Parliament and call elections to remove Britain's Labour government, a constitutional impossibility. He's just so annoying to the entire world.
Well, and like so much of this is like, his Twitter feed's got to be fucking crazy at this point. It's just a bunch of like right-wing disinformation. And,
I
and he
wouldn't
doesn't
know.
even fucking live there. Doesn't spend any time there. So when he
No,
sees,
he just wants to fuck with everything.
but he's never seen, like, he has just no reading comprehension, no media literacy, and he like sees some shit and he's just like, I need to share this with everyone.
Yes. Yeah, it sucks. He has, I mean, I don't like it, but he has now had a taste of power and continues to have tastes of it, and he just keeps wanting to see what he can fuck with around the world. And so far, he's been quite successful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's the king of the world.
I guess so.
I'm the king of the world. So yeah, Elon is all in on the Reform Party as long as they replace Nigel Farage, the face of the party, because he distanced himself and the party from a prominent racist that Elon likes. Nigel Farage is the Brexit guy, and Elon has decided that he's not enough of a far-right crank for Elon's liking. That's how far he's gone here.
Yeah, the bus, the double-decker bus marketing campaign to oust Nigel Farage is going to be even crazier than the Brexit bus campaign.
Yeah. We need a Frexit.
Yeah.
Nigel. Anyways, while we're on the topic of Elon Musk, fine. We're not going to do it today because we are running out of time here. But in our next episode, we will discuss the strange saga of Adrian Dittman, the weirdest and dumbest of all of the many current Elon Musk plot lines.
Mm-hmm. A lot of...
You might not like what we have to say about it, though. I've gotten into it online with some people and their opinions on this, and they get very upset when you do a little bit of critical thinking and just try to work them through how they reached.
But wouldn't it be cool if it was all real?
Yes, it would be fucking great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Instead,
I just cannot believe it.
Instead, there are freaks out there who are even more pathetic than Elon Musk, who idolize him because he is their one and only hero.
Yeah.
An actual literal godlike figure.
And he's enough of a freak to let a guy pretending to be him just run wild.
Yeah. It's like his little court jester gets to go out there and see what he can get away with.
Anyway, that's a taste of that. But there's been a lot of discourse and a lot of research into the Adrian Dittman phenomenon that has been quite revealing.
Yeah.
Even though so many people have looked at the evidence and said, "No, I refuse to believe this."
Yeah.
But until then.
Like the video,
Please be sure and like this video because YouTube's algorithm, they do not like it when content creators take a vacation.
They hate it even
no
worse.
breaks.
When you have a scheduled vacation, then you take longer.
Yeah.
Then it's really bad.
YouTube wishes that all of its creators were H-1B visa holders who couldn't just go on vacation.
So please like the video so we can get the flow going again. We will be back with more. It'll be a more consistent schedule again after the holiday break and all that stuff. If you haven't seen the previous video covering most of the dumb bullshit while we were gone, it's going to pop up on the screen in a second. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, all of you, for all the kind words and everyone reaching out. Obviously, it's a very sad, fucked up time for me personally, but it made it much easier in the process, easier to see how much people are just so nice and reaching out, and friends here in LA and elsewhere reaching out has just been wonderful. So thank you all for that. And please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and we'll be back soon. Now you can watch the video over there. We'll be back with some tech news.
Bye-bye.
Bye.